I'm going to show you 7 combinations of 2 neutral colors that make any look seem more expensive without depending on brand or price. Each pair has a detail that most people never notice, but everyone feels when they see it. It's what separates a styled look from a thrown-together one. The last trick is the most powerful, but let's start with the simplest, which you probably already have in your wardrobe. Trick 1. You put on the off-white, look in the mirror, and feel something's missing. It seems washed out. Then comes the temptation to change the entire outfit. When the problem wasn't the piece, it was what was missing beside it. The first of 7 tricks solves exactly that. Look, straight off-white pants, an ivory linen blouse, and a caramel mule. Just that. The look gains depth, presence, that finish that seems calculated without seeming forced. Off-white illuminates. Caramel creates contour, brings warmth, and prevents the production from disappearing. A light base amplifies. A warm color anchors. The rule is simple. Off-white in the larger part of the look. Caramel arriving through the shoe, bag, or belt. Avoid very cool white with overly orange caramel. The temperature needs to speak to each other. This is the starting point. The second trick already changes the game. A combination that makes any woman seem important without seeming severe. Trick 2. There's a belief I want to dismantle, that navy is a uniform color. Too serious, that it ages. What ages is the way it's worn, not the color. Navy has the strength of black, but without the harshness. During the day, it communicates authority in a way that black rarely achieves. It seems chosen, not default. The secret is in where you place each color. Navy goes on the piece that needs to convey the most weight. Pants, blazer, skirt. Ivory stays close to the face. Look at this combination. Straight navy pants, an ivory shirt in a light fabric, and a nude pointed toe slingback. The ivory isn't optical white. It's a slightly warm yellowish tone. This detail changes everything. The navy seems richer, deeper. Optical white next to navy creates a corporate contrast. Ivory creates luxurious harmony. The next trick uses 2 colors that seem simple together until you understand what's happening underneath. Trick 3. Have you ever put together a monochromatic look and it came out lifeless, as if something was missing? This is the third of 7, and it solves exactly that. With a combination that seems simple, but has a logic underneath that most people don't notice. Chocolate with champagne beige, cocoa brown with light sand, with vanilla, with that tone that almost looks like a golden off-white. Look at this outfit. Straight chocolate pants, a champagne beige tailored blouse, and a thin strap nude sandal. At first glance, it seems monochromatic, but it's not. The 2 colors belong to the same warm family, but at completely different intensities. The chocolate creates depth, the same that black would create, but without its harshness. The champagne beige illuminates and lightens the reading. Real contrast without visual shock. The rule is simple. The lighter color stays close to the face, the chocolate anchors below. What to avoid? Reddish brown next to overly yellowish beige. The families clash and the look loses cohesion. This trick is powerful, but the next one is the kind of combination that appears in editorials for a very specific reason. And it has everything to do with how clothes communicate presence in a room. Before we continue, here you don't just learn fashion. You learn the invisible codes that stylists use to make a woman be seen as elegant and important. If you want to keep learning these secrets, click the button below and subscribe to the channel now. Trick 4. Coming from a duo that balances authority and lightness. This one does the opposite. It starts from a place of strength and resolves in a way that most women have never tried. The most common mistake with black. The person has the right base, a well-cut piece, but fills the rest with more black. Black bag, black shoe, black belt. The result seems closed, sometimes heavy. The piece might be good, but the look as a whole doesn't breathe. See the difference? Straight black tailored pants with a black blouse and black flat. The look exists, but it becomes monochromatic without intention. Now swap the blouse for a camel shirt with a fluid drape and add a gold earring. It's the same black, the same structure. What changed was the warm point. This is trick 4 of 7, and it has one more layer. Black creates strength and precision. Camel enters to reduce the rigidity, not softening in the sense of weakening, softening in the sense of refining. It evokes British tailoring, an accessory that cost what it should cost. The detail that changes everything. The camel needs to appear in a generous area or in a very well-defined accessory. A black dress with a structured camel bag and cognac mule reads as editorial. That same dress with a tiny camel keychain on the strap goes unnoticed. Proportion is what activates the combination. Also avoid mixing faded black with deep black in the same production. The contrast with camel exposes any tone that clashes. There's still one ahead that works with a temperature tension that few people know how to resolve. And when you see the result, it becomes obvious why it works. Trick 5. Here's a look that many women have experienced. You wear gray, arrive at a meeting, and someone asks if you're okay. Not because you looked bad, but because the wrong gray, alone, drains life from the face. That's exactly the problem this trick solves. We're at the 5th of 7, and this one touches a temperature tension that most women try to solve in the dark. Stone gray, pearl gray, greige. These colors have a naturally cooler reading. They communicate modernity, composure, sophistication. The problem is that without anything to balance them, they can make the look seem distant. Or worse, like a uniform. That's where cream, vanilla, warm white enters. Not as dramatic contrast, as temperature. Cream doesn't fight with gray, it warms it. Look at this outfit. A straight-cut pearl gray skirt, a slightly loose vanilla shirt tucked in, and a light caramel mule. Up to here, it already works. There's balance, there's elegance. But the detail that transforms this look from put together to expensive is the mule. It's the third temperature, the warm point that anchors everything. Without it, the look floats. With it, it closes. Choose grays with real depth. Stone gray, soft slate, greige. Washed or faded gray near the face is what makes it look like hospital clothing. And swap optical white for cream whenever you can. The contrast between the two is too harsh for this combination to work. It's a powerful trick, but the next one will surprise those who think neutrals have no personality. Before the next trick, let me tell you something. How many times have you opened a closet full of clothes and still thought, I have nothing to wear? The problem isn't a lack of clothes. It's that nobody ever taught you how to combine the pieces you already have. That's why I put together a guide with over 150 looks. Tested one by one, using only 15 pieces you probably already have at home. And the best part, you don't even need to think. Just choose the look, copy it piece by piece, and in 5 minutes, you're ready to go. The link is in the pinned comment and in the description. And if you're watching on TV, just point your phone at the QR code on the screen. Trick 6. Speaking of personality, olive green is perhaps the color that most divides opinions among neutrals. Half of people think it goes with everything. The other half treats it like a uniform color. Neither is completely right. This is the 6th of 7, and before the last one, I need you to understand why this one changes the way you look at the entire neutral palette. The most common mistake is placing olive green with intense colors to give it life. It doesn't need that. What olive needs isn't intensity, it's clarity. And that's exactly where sand enters. Look at these olive green tailored pants with a slightly structured sand cotton shirt and a tobacco brown bag. The combination already works, but notice what's still missing: the belt. When you close the look with a thin cognac belt instead of a dark brown one or metal, the green stops seeming like utility and starts seeming like a choice. That's the difference. What happens here is that the two colors come from the same place: earth, nature, filtered light. That's why they don't compete for attention. The olive carries the personality, and the sand lets air into the look. Another way, a light beige midi skirt, a sage green blouse with a fluid drape, and a thin strap nude sandal with small gold earrings. Elegant without seeming calculated. The only real trap is letting the green fall into very utilitarian silhouettes. Too many pockets, exposed zippers, heavy fabric, Then the olive becomes outdoor. In a clean silhouette, it becomes editorial. Good thing there's one more, because the seventh deals with a swap that seems simple, but delivers a result this one can't reach. Trick 7, and we arrive at the seventh. This was the trick I promised at the beginning, the one that closes the cycle and shows why the other 6 on their own still leave a gap. The swap is this. Replace black with graphite and pair it with light caramel, soft cognac, or toasted beige. Seems like little, but the difference in the result is visible. Black has strength, but also rigidity. It closes the look, creates a wall. Graphite maintains all the authority of a dark color and dissolves the harshness. It lets light in, and that's exactly where light caramel does its finest work. It warms, it draws closer, it gives finish. The look stops seeming like armor and starts seeming like a conscious choice. Look at this first combination. Straight graphite pants, a light caramel shirt in fluid fabric, and nude slingbacks. Nothing flashy, but the reading is completely mature, confident, refined. Now this, a structured graphite blazer with a cream dress underneath and a small structured caramel bag. It's the kind of production that people look at and can't say exactly what's working. And that's what defines a truly sophisticated look. Use graphite when black seems too heavy for the moment. Avoid faded graphites and don't mix with black accessories. They eliminate the warmth that caramel builds. Now you have the 7 codes. And when you start applying 2 or 3 of them together, the right base, the warm color in the right place, the silhouette that doesn't compete, people stop and ask what changed about you. Save this video, because you'll want to come back when you're putting together your next look.